Hi, Wholehearted Mums. Today I'm here with Kate Barnes from Kate Barnes Health Coaching. If you aren't familiar with Kate, she is a holistic health coach, and she is here today to share with us some of her top tips for increasing your energy naturally, which is a big challenge I think a lot of us face. Hi, how are you, Kate?
Great, thanks, Andrea. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, no, it's nice to speak to you again. I guess if you could just start today and let us know what are some of your top tips to increase our energy naturally.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity, Andrea. I think it's something that a lot of us, especially as young mums, struggle with, and certainly something I did when I was, have had for a long time. But there are definitely simple things that we can do to improve our energy. And I think when we improve our own energy, it just reverberates around the home, in everything that we do. So it's really, really important. And we can get used to feeling under par and with low energy and just not think much about it. So my top tips, I think the key thing that I did was to start moving more again. I used to do quite a bit of exercise before kids and had really kind of put the kids first and neglected my own self-care. And I just started walking. And it was probably really, the kids are 13 and 11, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So I just started walking and, getting into a bit of a rhythm with that. I'm involved in the Happiness Hunter, regular walk on a Friday. And then I joined a running group. And so for me, that's what worked for me. But yoga and Pilates, walk around the block, just to get walking. And I think sometimes we can think we've got to go to the gym and work hard and spend an hour at it, but it really does not have to be like that. And sometimes, especially when we have little kids and we're not having a lot of sleep, it can actually put more stress on our bodies and do more damage in a way than good. So it's really trying to work out what works for us.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, so that's definitely my favourite. And then the other one, I think, for us as busy mums is stopping to breathe. It sounds a little obvious, but it's really, really important. It's busy, we've got a lot on, and it's easy to go through the day rushing and hurrying. And when we do that, we breathe from our chest, which is automatically stimulating the fight and flight, the sympathetic nervous system. And in that state, we're not digesting our food better. The body is under stress. So as soon as we stop to breathe and breathe deeply into our diaphragm, like right into our tummy, low and slow, then we stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. And it automatically switches off that stress response. It's really quick. It can take 10 seconds. We can be at the lights, walking on the block, when we're sitting down having dinner with the kids, anywhere through the day. Just take a moment to do that. It's really, really helpful.
Yeah.
And that because we've turned the stress response off, we are then restoring our energy. It's a really quick way of doing it.
Yeah.
The other one that's really important is, of course, food. Adding in some good food and taking time for ourselves to be adding in good food. We all know that, but it's about taking the time to do that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I did for years. It was like at lunchtime, some toast with cheese and tomato on it.
Yeah. No,
and when you're and when you're a breastfeeding mum, it's not such a good idea. Or even when you've got little kids. So lots of restorative healing foods that are mineral rich especially, and lots of those good healthy fats that are in there. And I've got lots of recipes on my website, so people can, check into any of those to get some ideas around that. But yeah, filling up really well. But the thing, breathing, moving, the other really important one, which is really obvious, is sleep.
The
biggest one, and maybe the hardest, especially with little kids, because we're waking up in the night, getting up to them and things. So it's easy to put the kids to bed and then just think, we might have a glass of wine, or have dinner ourselves, or watch some TV, Netflix, whatever it might be. But I really, really encourage people to go to bed early, switch off the screens, and jump into bed half an hour earlier, and then just see how the day goes the next day. The more hours we get before 12 p.m., the more restorative, better for our hormones, everything. So, if you're getting into bed at 10, just push it back to even quarter to 10, 9:30, and really notice how it feels. That's a biggie. A bit of a nice bedtime routine. Preferably no liquids, because you don't want to be getting up and going to the toilet, getting up unnecessarily. Something nice. It might be a bath, it might be lighting a candle, using some essential oils, whatever it might be.
Actually, I just started using an app for helping to unwind at night, and even at just a few minutes, it makes quite a difference. Just even like you can just have the music, or a guided meditation, or there's lots of things you can do with it. It's a freebie.
It's beautiful. Yeah, fantastic. And sometimes if you have some minerals, like if you wake up at night, you might add a little pinch of sea salt to some water, and that can help the body kind of plateau in terms of not having blood sugars that wake us up. So that even some healthy fats before you go to bed can help. A teaspoon of coconut butter or something like that, if your body metabolizes them well. And the meditation, the app, that sounds beautiful. What's it called, Andrea?
That one's the Calm app. But there's Headspace. There's quite a few different ones you can use. I just find it really good for that. Just unwinding.
And then just on that, just to make sure that you're not falling asleep with the phone on, turn it off. Really important. Perfect.
Those are great tips. Did you have any others?
I've got lots, but I think my top ones are those, but then also getting up early in the morning, Andrea. It seems incongruous, but there is a certain energy at dawn that if we can tap into that, and also our hormones, cortisol naturally kicks up, which is kicks up our energy as well at around 6 in the morning. So if we're waking up early and at that time of the day, then we're getting that kick naturally, and also we have that time maybe before the rest of the house or the kids get up, which is a really beautiful, magical time to have a cup of tea, do a little meditation, exercise, whatever it might be. And then we're kind of automatically on the front foot, in control of the day. Just makes such a difference. That's kind of my go-to. But then you've got to go to bed early to be able to kind of really enjoy that too.
So we know that some of these tips are definitely sort of easier said than done. Sometimes we start out with the best intentions. What do you find are some of the reasons why people struggle to action these sorts of tips?
It's a really good question. I think we get into habits, Andrea. So we're into the habit of, getting in, watching TV before we go to bed, or, reaching for coffee or alcohol or something as a stimulant for that energy, or something sugary and sweet. So it's being aware of the choices that we're making, slowing down enough in our day to have time to notice the choices that we're making. Quite often we're running from one thing to the next, and then all of a sudden it's happened without us even realizing. There's a big connection, an emotional connection with some of the choices that we make. In terms of food, for example, it's something we may have had, toast or sandwiches for lunch every day as a kid growing up. There's there can be a really strong bond in that regard with some of the food choices that we make. Breakfast is a biggie in that regard. So, I think it's about being aware, first up, of the choices that we're making. The only way we can be aware of those choices is by slowing down enough and taking time to breathe, to be in the moment, you know, to connect with the kids, to really be aware of those choices. It can be hard, but the hard part is often thinking about it.
Yes.
It's actually taking the action to do it, which is the hard part. But once you've done it, it's totally fine, you know. So if you get up and do a bit of exercise, you feel so good afterwards, but it just feels so hard to kind of start and make it happen. Yeah, for example, my neighbour sent me, before I started running, would send me a text regularly, you know, saying, come on, you're going to go for a run in the morning. And I always have some excuse. And then one night she sent me a text, and I said to my husband, oh, should I go running tomorrow? He said, yeah, go running. Why not? So I just sent text back, yep, great, I'm on. And so she picked me up, and then that was that. It was just the hardest part was getting there.
Yeah.
So I think that can often be the way.
And sometimes just like some accountability or people to do it with, like you say, you had a friend or neighbour who kind of you did it with, so it got you over the line.
Yeah, totally. I think that's really important. Yeah, if you've got a community, I have the running group to to keep me motivated as well. My neighbour, you know, definitely someone like that. So it's really important. You know, even having your husband on board, your partner on board in terms of the food choices, which is, I do a lot of work in that regard as well with my clients, because I just see it as critical to accelerating results and making new choices happen. So it's definitely.
Yeah. So you've got a new program launching next week that can help offer sort of some information, but also that kind of group support that people might need to help them.
Yeah, definitely, Andrea. Thank you for sharing that. It's coming up, start next Monday, and it's a 21-day reset protocol just in time for spring, which is a beautiful time to be doing this kind of thing, because naturally we're kind of looking for more energizing foods, and I'm thinking of it as tending our inner garden, you know, mind, body, soul. So, you know, good foods, good thoughts, great lifestyle choices, but really meeting people where they're at. So, you know, wherever you're at on the wellness journey, there will be something there for people. And there's no doubt that their energy is going to improve. But also through that process, skin looks more vibrant, immunity will get stronger, you know, and I'm sure weight will be released through the process as well, if there is weight to be released, or and they're just going to feel stronger, happier. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great kickstart.
Yeah, no, it sounds excellent. So if anyone wants more information about Kate's program, I'll just put the link to her site on the post. And
That'd
also,
be great.
if you would like to access her free ebook, 7 Simple Steps to Get Up and Glow, you can come across to our brand new Facebook group, WA Natural Mums, and grab your copy of the ebook there. Thanks so much, Kate, for today, and it was really nice to hear your tips. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks so much, Andrea. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.